This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwanns.com. This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwanns.com.
Hi there, this is Jim, the Keys bartender, coming to you from Key Largo. I'm going to be calling up my partner today, Jenna Kelly, and see what she's up to while I'm at it. Hey, Jenna, this is Jim. You're on the air. Nope, not yet. No.
Hello.
Hello. We're on the air for episode 122. Keys bartender, Jenna Kelly. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful. You have a cocktail?
I do. I have a cold Bud Light.
Oh, Bud Light? Okay. Yeah, it's funny. We mentioned this before. When you're out, you're normally drinking vodka, but when you're home, you're drinking Bud Light. Why is that?
Typically. I don't know. I actually have just kind of a Bud Light girl. And there was a waitress that used to work at my favorite restaurant that I was sick one time, and she suggested making me a vodka drink with orange juice in it to help me feel better. And it just kind of kept on going. So everybody else there just keeps making me that drink every time I go in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good to me. I mean, when I go out, if I'm doing the show, if I'm outside, I'm drinking a beer. A regular heavy beer, and when I'm home, I could be drinking bourbon or vodka because I don't worry about.
What kind of beer do you drink, though? Heavy beer. What's a heavy beer?
Not light beer.
Not
not
a
too
light
strong.
beer. So
I just drink.
What's
You know
your
what I mean?
What's your beer?
Just a
choice?
lager, like a Bud, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I try not to get too high of. The Polish ladies next door, my wife and her sister, are having an animated conversation. It's like you had a fish market in Krakow right now. Arguing over fish or something. But
Are you eavesdropping?
I don't know what the hell they're saying. They're just yelling at each other in Polish. And she doesn't have the phone on. She's just talking to her sister. But today, I just want to. The title of the show, and I didn't want to pop it on because you didn't have. I didn't want you to have to do any research because I'm not going to put you on the spot. Okay.
Okay.
And it's called Not Very Scary, and that's all I'm going to. It's going to be a general theme later. We're going to catch on at the last half of the show, but I wanted to cover some bartending stuff, which I don't think you have to. That it's more of an opinion piece, and then we're going to be talking to about this guy named Matt Spanish. That's going to be pretty. He's on one of our Facebook groups. It's called Bartenders Fraternity. You ever hear of Fraternal Orders of Bartenders? You can't. It's only for bartenders.
Yeah,
Okay?
I heard of it, but just because I've heard of it from you.
Yeah, and there's a guy on it. He just gets on it and he acts like a bitch. And saying how great a bartender he is, like he regularly makes like $800 a night, and he talks about it. And if you're a bartender out there, you got to be a real. I think about anybody's job, unless you're like someone that creates wealth for people, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're a real estate, and you know what's real estate commissions are, when someone sells $1 million house and they're the only realtor on it, you can pretty much figure out what they made on it. Okay.
Right.
So if it's $1 million house and let's say it's 3%, right? That means
Well,
$30,000.
it depends on if they're.
What?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's usually like 6%, and then the seller's agent and the buyer's agent split that. It goes back.
Well,
to
I know,
their
and I know
broker,
nowadays there's a
and then
lot
they
of
get a
splits.
portion of that.
A lot of splits go on. So sometimes if you were the lone realtor, it could be 6%. But so you made 60 grand on that. But other than that, being able years ago, it was always considered poor manners to mention what you make around people, unless you're talking to like your accountant or your best friend, or say, hey, listen, I got to watch. If you're talking about how little you make, I don't think it's bad manners. I just don't think it is a good idea. Do you get what I'm saying? Are you there? Hello? Oh my God! Did you get cut off? I'm gonna give her a call back. I think she may have gotten cut off. Let's call. Let's see what happened. Hey, hon. Is Sky on the? What happened here? Oh. Yeah. God damn it. Oh, I think we lost it. Yeah. Is the power off over here? God damn it. Okay. I'm going to keep this going. I don't know if it's... I think I have my... Do I still have the show going? There we go. It's 2.5 minutes, and we lost Jenna. So I'm going to give her a call back as soon as my internet comes back. I lost my Wi-Fi. She's going to be calling probably on the phone. But we were talking about how money is a really poor subject to bring around a group of people. So this guy meant Spanish on this bartender. So he talks about how fast the bartender is, how much money he makes, and how weak everyone else is. And that I'm gonna try to get hold of Jenna because I think I got a signal back here again. Here we go. We got some ringing. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to explain to the Jenna.
And we're back.
Yeah, what happened is my internet went.
Oh no.
Yeah. So but I was still recording.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah, it was scary.
That's bad.
I don't know what you heard up to, and I may have repeated it twice, but the one person I meant was he. Everyone refers to him whenever anybody runs into a prima donna. You know what? It happens in almost any line of work.
Yeah.
Like a
There's
salesman.
just a bartender that claims to make massive amounts of money every night, and he said he's kind of a bitch.
And being fast and expert in the crafting of cocktails, which I wanted to go on that craft cocktails total. I mean, I know there's a thing for it, but I thought, we don't talk a lot about bartending stuff. We were in the Keys, and in the Keys, it's kind of, you got your rum punches, because we're close to mojitos, Miami. I was meant to say Miami, I said mojitos. But it's mojitos, and it's gotten so bad down here that you can't just make a regular mojito. They got raspberry mojitos and blueberry mojitos and all these other shit. But, some people are starting to make like a strawberry mojitos, and they've never made a regular mojito with it, just as mint, rum, lime. Some people muddle it the mint and lime before putting anything else in, or other people use the ice to bruise it up, which I kind of like. I know some people won't like it, but everyone has their own technique, and people seem to like it. And if you put too much sugar in it, it makes it simple syrup. It makes it too sweet. You put some rum in it, it overpowers the mojito. So there's a certain balance to it. And everyone has their own taste for it, you know?
Right.
Like you'll have someone that says, they want a 7 and 7, but what they really want is a whiskey with a splash of 7-Up. They don't really want to taste that. And that's kind of like me. I mean, actually, I don't like putting anything in my bourbons. I mean, I don't even like putting ice in them.
Yeah, you just drink it straight, right? Neat? Is that what it's called? Neat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like the Cowboys did, you know what I mean? But I don't shoot it, you know?
Okay, but do you sip it neat, but then do you keep it in the refrigerator or the freezer?
No, room temperature.
Room temperature. So that's a lot like the wine connoisseurs, like the red wine connoisseurs that keep them at room temperature, right?
Well, supposedly in wine circles, there's a among the highest levels, and I guess it's a sommelier from France probably would be the supreme authority. But everyone has a different idea how in the United States it is widely viewed from other parts of the world, wine making regions of the world, that in the U.S. or the Americas we keep our red wines too warm and our white wines too cold.
Too cold, right?
Now, red wine should be a little should be not it shouldn't be room temperature. Should be a little below room temperature.
Right.
A little, but not very much. So and then a lot of times in wine coolers, you got people putting red wines because we don't have a stable like a wine cellar where it's always 68 degrees. Red wines are being kept at like the high 50s.
Well, but don't they sell those like wine refrigerators where you can basically keep like it's got like different zones for red wines and white wines? Like
you're
supposed to keep this one.
Yeah.
And then kind of like I don't know. I want to say humidor, but for wine.
Yeah, well, yeah, humidor controls everything. When you're using a refrigerator, it should be taking out the moisture anyway. But humidor is just for your humidity and for stabilizing at a temperature, whatever. You could have a humidor at 80 degrees and be fine.
Right, but I can't remember what the name of the actual wine refrigerator thing is. But I've seen them. I've seen and
wine
like
cooler.
I said, I'm not a
bartender.
It's
a
just
wine
a wine
cooler. That's all it is. And they do have zones for it. But the way most places do it now, they keep when I worked at the Encore, we had a red wine cooler, and that was set to a higher temperature of the white wine cooler, and that was nice. That was nice. That was in like the upper 50s, but it's still cool.
Okay.
When you're gonna have the bottle is cool. You don't want it any colder than that because supposedly with a red wine it doesn't open up as much. Same thing for white wine when it's too cold, because white wines can open. White wines can open up.
So open up, you mean by like the flavor, right?
Yes.
The flavor is different.
So that's why I feel about a bourbon and stuff like that when you're drinking it. Even if anything like 90 degrees or lower is fine on a bourbon because it hits your tongue. Your body's 98.6 degrees, and the thing just opens up and you get all that taste. Now, when you have something cold, it restricts that the aromatic effect.
Right.
Right? And it doesn't open up. You don't have that. It's just giving off more scent. Like when obviously if someone's sweating a lot and stuff like that, and the temperature's hot, they're gonna smell. If you're on an elevator,
right.
I guess the people that really affect it, if you're in a submarine or a broken down elevator or a bus on a long trip that doesn't have AC or a car, you'll know that smell. And heat doesn't enhance it. Heat does not enhance it. That's the one bad thing about the southern climes. You really, people with poor heat hygiene are found out within 5 feet. Up north, you could practically, in the wintertime, you could shit your pants and stand right next to someone. And if it's 0 degrees, you're not going to smell anything. right?
Right. Well, that's because the molecules actually shrink in the cold and they expand in the heat, right?
Yeah, I guess I mean I don't I just know about gas expanding under heat and then contracting when it's cooled down. So I mean I imagine smell is more of a odor is a gas is more of a gas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, odors. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost fundamentally a gas. Behaves the same way a gas. And then when you go and get it, the lower the temperature, the more it starts getting towards a state where all the molecules slow down, they get less active, and it's like you're not gonna, you're in the middle. You're really not gonna smell anything. When you have the hottest hot sauce, and you put it, let's say you're frozen. Your tongue is brought down to 30 degrees, right? And you put the hot sauce on it. Until that sucker starts warming up, your taste buds start warming up. You're not gonna taste anything. I think everything else gets less interactive. That's why they talk about absolute zero. At absolute zero, all activity stops in molecules.
Yep.
You know that?
Yeah. Well, and that's a part of the reason why, like, it doesn't snow when it gets too cold. It takes all the moisture out of the air. It closes all those molecules.
Okay, well, I'm not familiar with that. That was a good idea, I guess. I mean, that's way above my grade. I'm just saying, absolute zero is that's where they talk about on the Kelvin scale. When you get to absolute zero, all activity stops. And how the fuck did we get to this part? We were talking about
we were talking about temperatures of wine and booze.
And then back, or we were talking about money and craft cocktails.
Okay, so you have to go back to this guy who is, bold about his bartending.
Yeah, he lords over his experience with people and talks about craft cocktails and how many people he served, how much experience he has, belittles other people's questions and stuff like that, and he never made a mistake, and he's kind of a troll. It's kind of like it sounds like a fictitious person, but I've ran into real life Matt Spanishes, right? Where people come in and they come to my wherever I'm working and they'll ask me some questions, and laugh, like if you know how to make this or you can't make a Scissorac, one of those Hemingway cocktails.
Oh yeah.
So they'll come and ask you that. They'll talk about specialty signature bitters. There's a whole bunch of different bitters now. It used to be only one type of bitters up until like 20 years ago. And they probably existed, but generally acknowledged with bartenders. When someone said bitters, it was Angostura bitters that existed from the late 1800s. And bitters are developed from wormwood, and they're put into cocktails. And what happened, the history of bartending, if you think about it, years ago, a bartender stood behind a bar to dispense wine or spirits or ales. And that was it. Hardly ever there was a mix. Grog, I guess the British Navy started introducing a grog. And then they had mead. There was mead, which was a fermented beverage with honey and all that stuff you put in there. And mead was real low percentage. But it wasn't until I guess, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think it was until the Depression when they started making martinis and stuff like that, when Prohibition was going on. Then you started getting cocktails. I mean, they probably made cocktails in New York and stuff like that stuff. But it's pretty much, if you think about it, you'll drink beer when you're home, right? But have you ever just drinking straight vodka? Have you ever drank straight vodka?
Never.
Without ice?
Never.
You ever drank any liquor that you didn't, let's say without shooting, not without shooting, you ever sip at a liquor?
I tried to. My big brother likes a drink. I don't even remember what it is. It's Lafroig. It's I think it's a Scotch. And
what's it called?
Smells like ass. It's Lafroig. I think it's I mean, it's a Scotch whiskey, I believe.
Okay, well,
And
I mean, there's
it's
really good.
it's hard
There's a
to
lot
find
of good
out here. I've sipped
Scotch
it.
whiskeys I've never heard of, and I won't, I won't dispute some because there's literally 1,000 of them. I think so. I mean, they got to be supposedly they got to be licensed in Scotland, but yeah, when it comes, and that's the one thing. For really good Scotch, it's the exception almost. If you get a really good bottle of Scotch, let's say it's $2,500 or anything like that, you'd be considered an asshole to mix that with anything else.
Right.
And that's what I'm harkening back is when obviously you really wouldn't need bartenders if you were going to drink bourbon, you just took the bottle out, you poured out the glass of bourbon. All you have to do is pour, right, and draw a beer. And then they, when they started in America, when wine started getting introduced and stuff like that. So that was pretty much it until the 20th century. And then you started getting guys putting egg whites. You ever hear of egg whites? You use egg white to make a whiskey sour.
Oh.
Oh,
no.
yeah, all sorts of shit. When the dry vermouth is a wine, vermouth is literally a wine, but you got sweet and dry. They both taste.
But you wouldn't normally drink vermouth straight, right?
Yeah, some people do. In a famous movie, Groundhog's Day, right? You know the movie Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray?
Yeah, with Bill Murray. Yep.
Okay, Andie MacDowell, her favorite drink is sweet vermouth on the rocks. I met one other person that ordered something like that before. It is a horrible drink, but then again, people can acclimate themselves just like I drink bourbon neat. People can acclimate themselves to a taste and find it pleasurable.
Yeah.
You think about it, there's people that are cartographists. You know what a cartographist is?
No.
Think of the worst thing you can eat.
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And you can convince yourself. You have people that eat paper.
Oh, yeah. Like the toilet paper lady.
Oh, not just, you know what I mean? Not just dirty toilet paper, just paper.
I know.
Paste, glue. You know what's funny? I eat the lemon rind. Because that's supposed to make your teeth white. I do. I eat the lemon rind. It's supposed to be. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but what I'm suggesting is all these things are only like 100 years. Most of these cocktails are made, and every time there's a bartender out there, they years ago when you could be a bartender in a good place and raise a family, and that's what you're supposed to do. Now you got to be a great bartender, and it's always a side gig. Someone asked me, the Witch's Ride was this Saturday.
Yeah.
And this Miami woman's there, and she's asking me a shitload of questions. She was either hitting on me or trying to find out if I wanted to invest in her financial services. Okay?
Maybe it was both.
I couldn't figure it out. I'm so out of touch with that. And she goes, I'm working my ass off. I think I look pretty good doing it because I'm making money out of fucking apron, for 100 people coming in, and I'm just pulling wads of cash out, trying to make change, rounding up to the nearest dollar for everything, right? Rounding up and rounding down. So the prices, work out right for the stuff we're serving, right? So she starts asking, and then one question goes, what's your job? You see me bartending. What do you mean, what's my job? It's already,
right,
I'm 55 years old. I guess it's not considered a real gig for some people.
Well,
and luckily I do have 2 other jobs.
She's probably looking at it like a career.
Yeah.
That's not what's your career. Right.
I had an uncle that I had a great uncle, my dad's uncle, who raised 6 kids as a bartender. That's all he did. And he was a very good father. He didn't drink either. He never drank.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, probably because he saw firsthand what it does to some people.
Or I think he saw what it does firsthand to some people in his own family.
Oh, gotcha.
He didn't have to go to work to see it.
Right. Well,
And,
but he capitalized on that.
Yeah.
Without
I didn't have
participating
to.
in it
I'll tell you,
himself.
I didn't have to see it. I mean, I inside my immediate family, I didn't have a problem. Inside my immediate family, if I needed to point out at the guy with the problem drinking, right? All I have to is to look in the mirror. I would never go. I wouldn't go. Well, this person here has a problem, because there's always that thing when you have. Do you ever think of that whenever you have you think you could be doing something questionable, and you go, well, at least I'm not as bad as Karen.
Oh, and then compare yourself to other people?
Yeah, I used to do that a lot years ago. Well, I don't pee on myself at the end of the night all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So-
No, I've got a few people that, I mean, like, you know their surroundings, and you know that if it's a certain time of day, that it's, for example, I work. I work until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. It depends on what's going on. And if they text me when I'm getting off work, I'm like, nope, I'll see you tomorrow. Because then I'm always the sober person that shows up to the drunk party.
Well, I'm not talking about drinking. I'm not just talking about drinking, like bad mood people and some. Like if I'm a shitty person in the morning, I can go, well, like I can be nasty in the morning, but at least I'm not as bad as Tom.
Oh.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, it's not always that. It's like whenever, you don't have control of something. Like, I always explained my addiction. This is kind of maybe not along a linear thing. The truth is, when I was sober, I used to go up to, when I went up to the mainland, right? Mm-hmm. And there was it was before they had a Dunkin' Donuts here, right? But they had a Dunkin' Donuts in Homestead and a Krispy Kreme, right? Are you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
And I get a dozen donuts, and the idea was I'd drive back, and I'd take 3 donuts, leave a couple donuts for my roommate. I was roommates with a woman, non-sexual roommate.
Right.
And I'd come home, and I never mentioned that I have donuts. You know why? Because after 3 times of going up there, I never made it back with any donuts. Yeah.
You ate all the donuts.
I ate all the donuts. And, I would go up there around like 10. I would get up, like I'd go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning. Or right after open workout for like 2.5 hours. Row for 20 minutes, run for 20 minutes, lift for 30, 40 minutes. Shower, get in the car, and then run up to Homestead. And do whatever I needed to do, and then which is home for our listeners from other parts of the world. And Iran, if you're listening, we do appreciate you once again. Please don't get beheaded by the morality police there. I want you to know that.
Yes. Please stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. Yeah. Whatever. What was I talking about? Coming back to donuts and stuff like that? You were talking
about so it's very counterproductive of you, Jim, to go to the gym and then drive to Homestead and eat the entire box of donuts before you got home.
I had a whole plan right here, right? My whole plan was I got sober, right? So my head got cleared. I mean, I could actually think about what I was going to say to women almost all the time, instead of like counteracting what I said the night before when I was drinking. And trying to remember. Yeah. I remember everything I said. And you know what? I had a lot to learn. I was 7 years old. I had a lot to learn on how to talk to women. I really did. And I don't know how so I went to the gym to get in really good shape, because I figure I better be in good shape because I'm not going to be real fun when I'm not drinking. So I better be the best looking guy I could be. Right?
Ah.
I had to be the best
Okay.
looking guy I could be. And my best looking guy may not be, I mean, there's guys that wake up in the morning, don't do shit, and they look great. So I had to work real hard. But in the end, my big outlet was going up to Homestead, doing whatever shopping I did, and buying a shitload of donuts and eating 12 donuts on the way back. At the end of the night, when I was working at the Encore and stuff like that, when I wasn't, in the middle of the sober thing, I'd stop at the Circle K on the way home, buy a DiGiorno pizza, right?
Mhm.
Get a barbecue pork sandwich, a bag of Munchos, right? And a bottle of I have my big bottles of water at home. Go home, put the pizza in the oven first, right? Because I can't wait the 20 minutes for the pizza to be ready. So I microwave the barbecue pork sandwich, open up the bag of Munchos. Not the super big one, the medium-sized bag, but I eat the pork sandwich and then the Munchos, and then I eat the entire pizza at 11:30 at night, or 12 o'clock at night, if I left work at 11:30, I then got home and it'd be till 12:15 and eat. Go to sleep at 1 o'clock. Get up, go to the gym, work out for 2.5 hours, and do the same thing the next day. Right?
Right.
That's what I did.
For how long? How long was this your routine?
2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Not the same. Not always a barbecue pork sandwich. Every so often it could be a Cuban sandwich. Where's my fucking dog? My dog always comes in here and starts barking like crazy when I'm on the podcast. Come on, hey, stop.
So
it.
I was going home from work today, and I swung by, and two of my staff were standing outside by their cars chit-chatting. And, of course, I pulled up to say goodnight, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going to go home for the podcast." And they laughed and said, "Well, we're going to go home and have a podcast."
Oh, they're doing that?
It was a pot, like marijuana cast.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Were
Yeah,
they
I thought
blowing
it
in
was
each
funny.
other's mouths and stuff like that?
They were not,
hear this
but
shit
they were
going on
standing
here?
outside their cars. Yeah, I hear.
You hear this shit going on my end?
She's barking at you. She wants attention.
I know, but every time I'm talking to you in here, she never does shit. But she will come in here and start playing with her toy and all that stuff. And yeah, now she's outside barking at fucking dogs. So they're doing a podcast. We can always link up with them. I just got to figure out how to do the three-way phone call. Hey, while we're on it about not very scary, we're almost halfway through the podcast here, or more than halfway.
Yeah. Okay, so
we're gonna
not
talk
very
about.
scary.
Wait, I want to talk about Halloween and not usual stuff. Okay.
Okay.
It's what your idea. If I was going to say invite you to a Halloween party, what would be your appropriate type of costume? Pick off the top of your head. Now wait, I'm going to play one of the sound effects we have. Oh wait, I did it again. That's it. Okay. It was a deep laugh. It was oh. And there's a ghost one too, but we'll talk about that. Okay. What's the appropriate
I'm trying
costume?
to think of
It's a Halloween party.
how
I'm having a let's say I'm having a masquerade party. A masquerade party is not near Halloween, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm having a masquerade party. Let's say it's in February, right?
Right.
Then I'm having a Halloween party. Pick a costume off the top of your head you went to a recent Halloween party with. Or pick the last 3 costumes you've had.
Oh, well, the last costume I wore was a witch, and it was
Okay.
just for a work event.
Classic.
Yep, classic, because it was easy, and I didn't have much time. I did get the cool socks with the stripes on them.
I think it's cool. I salute you for that. Okay.
But I can't remember the last time I dressed up for Halloween prior to that.
As a child.
As a child, I was Miss Piggy once.
Okay.
And that's not very scary. And then I was Sylvester the cat. So again,
well, Miss
not very
Piggy.
scary.
I mean, there was what was that movie where they wore a pig mask in it? There was a horror movie.
I don't know.
There was a horror movie with that in it. That was pretty bad. Okay. You were. What was the other one?
I was Sylvester the cat.
Okay, that's cute.
And my brother was Tweety Bird.
Oh.
Yeah, my big brother. So it was really funny because I was this tiny cat and he was a giant bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, in my neighborhood, I grew up in north side of Minneapolis, so it was like very condensed housing, and you could go.
Oh
up
my
and down
God!
the
But
street,
that must have been so great. It was actually cool.
Yeah.
The temperature was cool. It wasn't like 70 degrees. Every so often in Philadelphia, it'd still be like 70 degrees, and you wear your costume, you'd be sweating your ass off. But when it's cold outside, you could throw a costume over your clothes, and you'd be like running around. You'd be great.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then you'd have to use a pillowcase because you got so much candy. You'd go home, so you go away up
was
and
it
down
row
the street.
homes?
It wasn't row homes. It was like kind of like the World War II, like post World War II homes.
Yeah.
Not exactly in my neighborhood, but there was right down the street. There was a lot of like slab homes that were built, for the soldiers and their families and stuff like that. They were affordable,
like Levittown homes.
and they were like 2-bedroom, 1-bathrooms, or 3-bedroom, 1-bathrooms, and a lot of them had that attic where it was like angled in the roof.
Yeah.
So if your bedroom was way upstairs, your two ceilings, basically would kind of come down as an angle, like a triangle down.
Yeah, you had the Greg.
So they were small.
We called it the Greg Brady bedroom.
Yeah, the Greg Brady bedroom, exactly.
Because they had it upstairs.
But yes, upstairs on almost every house. So you would run up and down the street, and you'd go way down one side of the street, get to the end, and then come all the way down, and for 3, 4, 5 blocks. And then as soon as you got all the way back, you were just literally across the street from your house. So you'd go home, change your costume, dump out your bag, and start over again.
Wow.
So
that's a great thing. I mean, I lived in for about 4 years. I lived in a row home community in Philadelphia, and we go down 3, maybe 4 streets, one block after block after block next to each other. On each street, oh man, I don't want to understate it, about 80 homes. So we hit 320 homes. Obviously, 20 or 30 of them would have their lights out. You have old people that don't want to interact with you and stuff like that. But you would get, I mean, that would just be it. You had the amount of candy you had was amazing. I mean, it was just loads of candy, and it was bigger portions back then. And every so often, and I never had a problem with it, the people would have the caramel apples. They were great. That was my favorite thing. And everyone says that when you go like that, you never get one. They found out years later. I think we said this before.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever
family
that
members
happened,
doing that, right?
What?
It was family members that were spiking their own candy or putting the razor blades in the candy bars or whatever.
Exactly. It was
do you
like
ever remember
with
going back
Munchausen
through the second
syndrome,
time?
right?
And yep.
Well, I just realized right now, like we're going to do and Kathy's going to bitch me out for this, but I mean, we're going to do Grease, right?
Oh yeah.
Now I understand, but that's not Halloween. That's Masquerade.
Oh yeah.
That's
not
just
scary.
my idea. I think it's because I'm Irish and the history of it. Samhain, the Celtic holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And the darkness thing. I like the dark thing about it. Halloween should be the thing where we embrace that part of humanity that isn't so. I mean, we don't have to behave, behead anybody or do any. I told you about when people came up during the Witches Ride to me. And the Witches Ride was this Saturday. It was a fundraiser for a scholarship event. and some tourists came up to me while I was waiting at the bar before we got too busy. But there were still like 30, 40 women walking around and a couple guys in costumes. And they were kind of dark, a lot of black clothing, and their bikes were made up. And the tourist said, well, what's this all about? And I said, oh, it's Saturday. And he goes, what do you mean Saturday? I said, well, you're in Key Largo. And he says, no, what I'm asking is, but why these people dress this way? Oh, we just like to show our appreciation, love for Lord Beelzebub, Satan. And they looked at me, and I go, I'm just kidding. It's a scholarship ride. And some people say that I always lie and stuff like that, but I think when someone asks a question, if you made a little, like if you were somewhat a Sherlock Holmes, you would say, what type of benefit are you doing here? What kind of party is it and stuff? What is this all about? When you say, what's this all about, you give me the whole license to create what it is.
It's right. Well, I mean, ask the more intelligent question, please.
Yeah. But please don't say, do you have good food here? And we had that before because, that's been our big downfall,
Right, and be like, oh, no, the food sucks. Why are you even here? I mean, what do you expect someone to say?
Yeah. Oh, the best one is that, can you get a drink here? Can I get a drink here? And I'm like, well, why would you come up to a bar if you wanted a drink? What is your problem? That's pretty fucked up. But, I mean, with Halloween... I know as a kid you dress up as a hero and astronaut and stuff that changed. But as an adult, I figure we go back to the origins of it.
Right. All Hallows Eve, which when
All
the spirits
Hallows Eve, scaring off the spirits and stuff like that, so the ghosts don't come. I mean, and get you look like a ghoul, like they are. So they wouldn't.
You could say that about your gazing globe that's in your yard. It's to scare off the witches.
Well, I'm a powerful witch. They said when I was coming in, I said, I'm not afraid of witches. My sorcery is just as strong as theirs. Well,
you would be
that's
a warlock.
What I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to believe me, but the orb is powerful. Thank you for saying that.
The orb.
And we are rolling in through that, and that part. What do you think? Do you think, does it really matter? Are we doing the? I was going to talk about scams. We don't even have to talk about scams. We're down at 41 minutes, but about 3 minutes we were out of. It's going to be like, maybe I should just start the show again at the beginning, put in the sound, and just cut it off. But I think it's going to be kind of funny that people say, "Well, Jim just was stuck on its own when the sound went out."
Internet issues.
Yep. But what do you? I mean,
well,
is it a big deal?
I think that I do like the fact that I like the dark parts of Halloween. I think that's cool. I like the goblins and the ghouls and the scary stuff because that's the time where you get to actually do that and show the darkness. So I think the greasing it'd be fun for like a different kind of event. But
we're gonna do it. I think I gotta be the. I'm gonna be the high school coach. Because I'm
too the coach.
Old. Yeah, I can't. I'm too old to be.
You're
John
too old to be
Travolta.
Danny or.
Danny. Oh my God, you know his name. I mean, I really can't sing either. But you know what? Jerry's not going to be able to sing. Wait until you see Jerry do it.
Who's going to be Sandra Dee?
I think Holly.
Oh well, that's probably suitable.
And they hate each other.
She's more of a Rizzo.
I wanted to be Rizzo.
You could probably rock Rizzo.
Oh, what?
You could rock Rizzo. We'll get you a little
would
wig.
Be Rizzo or the guy that sang "Beauty School Dropout," Frankie. That was Frankie Avalon.
Frankie Avalon. Yep.
Oh.
But again, he's not
How
scary.
the fuck would you know that? You're a kid. Who Frankie Avalon is?
Right, but I didn't know who Jim Croce was, and you gave me crap about that the other day.
I know. How do you have? I mean, wait. Frankie Avalon was 10 years before Jim Croce.
I know. I don't know why.
Okay. Well.
Guess I was just never exposed to it.
Okay. Well, This Saturday, we are at the thing where the bar will put on the party. I will have people come up, and they'll come up in costume, and they'll be surprised I don't automatically start them a tab because they're wearing makeup and a mask and stuff, and I don't know who the fuck they are.
Right.
And you know what? When it's real busy, it's not cute, because I got 10 other people that are going to be pissed off because you're taking up my time. So if you're in a costume, give me your card. Tell me who it is. Make sure it is, because I bet there's a couple of my regulars would say someone else's name. That'd be funny too.
That kind of would.
Danny was one of our locals, and he would be like, he comes in with his buddies, and they put it on Danny's tabs. I'm like, Danny looks at his tab and goes, "What the fuck? It's like $100 on here." And I don't automatically do that.
I have a friend who would do that. Which if you're out at the bar, she would volunteer. Hey, do you need another beer? Sure. She'd go in and get you one, and then she'd get herself one and put it on your tab.
That's a good one. I like that.
And if you ever,
let me laugh here. Here we go.
With her,
that's a good one. That's another one too. A witch laugh. Okay.
Now we are conditioned to go out with her, and we tell the bartenders when we get there, do not let her put anything whatsoever on our tab.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, she'll drink all night on your tab. You wouldn't know it till you left.
Hey, remember that guy I told you about? And listeners, listen. I trusted someone whose card didn't work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't come in early in the morning. He came in later in the night. He paid.
Mhm.
He paid it. I've never gotten taken yet. I've never gotten taken by somebody.
That's good.
Yeah, I've this young couple from overseas that came over, and the car got. I told you this. I think the card wasn't working. It was a Sunday. They were going to sleep in a car at Gilbert's, and I told them. I said, "No, you don't have to sleep." There was no way they could get a hold of the people, the bank. It was until like 3 a.m. or something like that, because that's when the banks would open up.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I said, I paid for the room. And I paid for a room. And then they were going to go, and they were leaving. I said, where are you going? There's your room ready. Go, we got to get something to eat. We're going to get we got a couple bucks. We're going to get some bread and bananas. And I said, oh, fuck, just stay here. I'll pay for your, I bought them drinks and that. And I worked for free that night, But
right, yeah.
It seemed like the right thing to do, and there wasn't anything spectacular about these kids. They were in their 20s. I just thought they seemed really nice, and they weren't asking for anything. They asked to park in the parking lot and to sleep and not to be arrested, because they had no place to go, and they were in the Keys, and the Keys are, you can't really just sleep in the parking lot. So, then I thought I'd never hear from them. I'm thinking, what the hell? I'd kiss it up to God. And don't you know, like a couple days later, the owner comes in and he says, Jim, come in the office. And he says, this envelope was left for you. I say, I opened it up. Now, he read the envelope. He goes, you paid for someone's room and all that. And I thought I was going to say, hey, that's really respect. He didn't say shit like that at all. He's like, you're an idiot,
Oh.
Yeah, but they gave me money and all that stuff. They paid for everything. And,
right.
And he goes, well, I said, I trust people sometimes. And one of the, he's one of a couple of people he hired. One ended up, killing themselves, and the other guy got deported. So I don't know, and he got deported for a good reason too. So I didn't think anything of it. I don't feel bad about not working for this guy anymore. I don't know why I got to that. It's kind of dark. It's kind of Halloween-y.
It's kind of Halloween-y.
Are you going to come out on Halloween or what? You're going to stay home?
Well, on Halloween itself is a Wednesday, right?
Okay, I'm talking about Saturday night. You never go out. I never see you out at night.
Nope, I'm rarely. But I have my very good friends, Kat and Colleen. You've met them.
Yeah.
It is Kat's 60th birthday party on the 27th on Saturday, and I will have to be attending that because they are very close to me. So I have to make sure that I am there and present, and they're already giving me crap about it, whether or not I'm going to show up because I have to work prior to that. And they know me. If I go home, I usually stay home. But I was thinking about, maybe buzzing out on actual Halloween night if I get out of work on time over to the Caribbean Club, because they do have some, even if I can just people watch and see the costumes, it might be a little entertaining.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's also month end for me, and I'm, in finance. So there's a lot of paperwork to be done on the last day of every month.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately.
Got bonuses and everything coming in, right?
Well, it's processing the last day of the month, which ends up being, the entire month. And if I don't get things processed, my salespeople might not get compensated as they should for that month, and can't let people down,
Okay. Well, that's going to be tough. I think I have to go. I don't think I have to go anyplace. I think I might. I mean, guys, it's her last year. 12-year-old daughter's 12 years old, so I think it's one of the last years of the
trick or treating.
I don't remember going.
Now, do you guys go to the neighborhood? Do you go to that neighborhood across from CJ Sundowners, where everybody kind of goes trick or treating?
Nope.
No,
we go down because Abby's sister, who doesn't have kids anymore, is in Plantation Key.
Oh.
And there's a neighborhood right there where it's really busy. I mean, you get drunk going through that neighborhood. There's a parent walking them because you go there and they're doing shots and all that stuff. You walk around and you drink. So...
Yeah, I hear the golf cart episodes are usually pretty scary.
Oh,
so I just steer clear of that.
Yeah, well, that's where we go, and I bring up I bring like 7 bags of candy with me, so they distribute it. They're doing candy, so I bring my candy, and I figure, hey, and if anybody says anything, I just say, you know what, we're participating. We're not taking nearly as much candy as we put out.
Right.
So.
Yep. Yeah, no, you got to do it. Well, but like you said, your daughter is, it's probably one of the last years that she'll be trick-or-treating. But, my kids are grown and gone, so I don't have to deal with it anymore. But when they were little, it was definitely a chore to go trick-or-treating, especially when you had to drop the tailgate on your truck and let them ride in the back and drive from house to house, because we lived in, Wisconsin. Where
you
everything
didn't tie
was
them
very
to the
far
back
apart.
of the truck and then tie the wagons to the back of the ball on the tow hitch on the truck and then drag the kids behind you?
I did something similar once where I put the little landscaping trailer on the back of my John Deere lawnmower tractor, and I popped the blade, the whole mowing housing off, and pop it off and drop it on the ground, and I just towed him around the neighborhood on my tractor.
Okay.
Yeah, but then when I moved even further into the country, that was just too far. You had to just drive them around in the truck and let them run up to people's houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounded like we got through our the Halloween and Matt Spanish episode through on this. We're going to talk about scams next week. Because
absolutely, we were very clean this time. We didn't actually get we might not even need the explicit label on this episode.
I always put explicit on there, cocksucker, motherfucker, Yeah, I just said it. Okay. There you go. You know why? Because we don't want. No. I don't want it. It doesn't matter. I want it to be explicit. It could be explicit, it may not, but it's explicit because you could, and you don't have to all the time.
Right.
And
but we could. We never know.
We're approaching
we
1
could,
hour.
But you never know. Oh my goodness. Well, we better wrap it up.
Yep. Wrap it up. Say goodbye, Jenna.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll talk to you next week.
Yes, we will. Thank you for listening to Keys Bartender. Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome.
Bye. It's supposed to be playing the music right now. I don't know if it's playing, but it could be.
You kidding?
I hear it in the background.
Oh, perfect.
I'm going to play a little scary sound. We did a Wicked Witch. We did a ghost. It's more the moaning one. Bye, Jenna.
Bye.
This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwans.com. This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwans.com.